Wow, look at this. Everybody's really into AI chips today, is it? All right, let me ask you all something. Are you all bad boys for life? Woo! Let me ask you all again. Are you ready to get jiggy with it? Woo! All right, it's time to get Big Willie style up in here. Our next guest needs no introduction. He's a multi-award winning actor, rapper, producer, and one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. And we need a star to interview a superstar, and we've got one of those too. Please welcome best-selling author and host of the podcast On Purpose, Jay Shetty, in an exclusive fireside chat with the star of Bad Boys, Men in Black, Independence Day, King Richard, Academy Award winner, multiple Grammy Award winner, BAFTA, Golden Globes, the man in the pursuit of happiness. He is legend, the one, the only, the Fresh Prince himself, Will Smith!
Hello, hey! Yes.
Who wants to get a selfie with Jay and Will?
All right, yeah. I'm getting a selfie. There we go. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. My ears are blocking people.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Give it up for Will Smith, everyone!
Yeah.
Make some noise!
Jay Shetty, ladies and gentlemen.
Make some noise.
I
Will,
am never going to live up to that introduction.
Will, it is such a joy to be with you here, and everyone who stand up, thank you so much for turning up for this interview. And Will, I want to dive right in. We've got a little bit of time, and you have so much incredible insight. I just want to say one thing, everyone. I met Will for the first time 6-7 years ago, and we became great friends. And I can honestly say that this man is even better offline than he is online. He's one of the most special human beings I've met, and I just want everyone to know that. And as we dive into that, Will, I want to get into all the insights and wisdom you have. But before we do that, this is your first time in Qatar.
Yes.
What does it feel like?
First time. I love it here. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. It's really beautiful and peaceful, and you can feel the energy of the future about to happen, and as an artist, that is extremely exciting to me to be in a place that's bubbling, with anticipation of, creating a future, and I salute all of you here in that energy and in that space of creating not just the tomorrow for Qatar and the Middle East, the future of our planet. So I salute all of you.
Absolutely, well said. I feel like, Will, you're probably the only person who's even ever tried to do this, let alone succeeded. But you went from a career in music to a career in TV to dominating film. So you've dominated music, TV, film. Like, I don't even know people who tried, let alone succeeded.
Yeah.
You mastered them, dominated for decades. But what I find most fascinating is it's really hard when you're transitioning.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience today who realize they might need to become storytellers.
Yes.
They realize they might need to launch a podcast. They realize they might need to understand AI. There's all these transitions. And I wanted to ask you, how did you manage, because I think it's the most underestimated part of your journey, how did you manage to shift between three of the biggest mediums on planet Earth and do it so seamlessly and successfully?
I think there are a couple of really important things. And I guess the first thing I would say is you'll never be rid of fear. Don't try to not be scared. It's terrifying to start a business, to leave a job, to start something else. You'll never be rid of fear, right? So the relationship with learning how to relax into fear and lean into the unknown and to not need it to be perfect, not need to understand it, not need to have a sense of a 5-year and a 10-year plan. You couldn't possibly know what's going to happen, right? So the courage to lean into the unknown and to be scared and do it anyway is a really huge part of transitioning. And I think the second part of that for me was always going from music to television. And I had success in music, and the big thing is throw it away. Like, humble down and go back to beginner's mind. First time you're learning something new, be a child, asking all of the questions, and that child mind of starting something new versus, if I had been trying to carry my success as a rapper into television, that would have been really bad, because very, very little rap information is necessary to be a TV star. So, the humbling of myself in those transition points was a really important part of being able to learn and grow and accept that I don't know and be okay that I don't know. And the worst thing you can do is pretend like you know when you don't know. It is much better to accept not knowing and lean into not knowing.
I love that. Round of applause, everyone. I love that answer, because I think we're often told the opposite. I think a lot of people are like, fake it till you make it, pretend like you know what's going on. And that's refreshing advice, to just say, hey, actually, if I take that ego with me, it's just going to block everything.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to ask you, you've been successful at so many things. I want to know what your definition, you've talked about redefining success. What was your definition of success when you started?
Yeah.
And then what's your definition of success evolved to today?
Well, my original definition of success was women liking me.
How many of you can relate? Raise your
If
hands.
women like me.
Raise your hands, yeah. We can all relate. Yes, if you're not putting up your hands, you're lying. Yeah, we can all relate.
If women like me, I was like, I won, I'm successful. No, I wanted to be number one. And the most important thing to me when I was doing something is I wanted to be number one. Whatever the number one spot was in what I was doing, I wanted that to be me. And I was willing to suffer whatever I had to suffer to win. And as I started to rack up wins, and what's been a big part of our relationship, and when Jay and I met, I had gotten to that point where I had learned how to win, but it was insatiable. So part of what Jay and I in our friendship is finding the deeper part of what was most important to my heart. And what I discovered is there's nothing above seeing something you've created, seeing something you've done help another person. When you see your gifts land, with others versus doing something, and I'm so happy to have never been in this position where there's the way for me to win is by hurting others, right? And it's like, that would be a terrible way to have to use the artistry. But a film like Pursuit of Happiness, there's nothing above when someone walks up to me on the street. Thank you. When somebody walks up on the street and says, hey, I was really close to the end, and I saw Pursuit of Happiness, and it really helped me to keep going. So thank you for that. So the attention on how what you do serves others is a huge fuel, and for me, it's the only thing that keeps me going and pushing is to be able to create things that touch the hearts and minds of people and provide some assistance in the difficulty of making sense out of this life.
That's beautiful. Round of applause, everyone. Yeah, go for it. Come on. Absolutely. It's so interesting, isn't it? Because you can become successful, but it doesn't mean you'll be fulfilled.
Yes, absolutely.
And that service element you're talking about is the difference between being successful and fulfilled, as opposed to being one or the other. How do entrepreneurs create that mindset? Because I feel like when you're starting out, it's natural to just be like, we just got to make it. Like, we just got to survive. We want to be number one. We want to do well. How do we balance, or how do you create a narrative internally that allows you to be successful but also be of service and recognize that they can go together, rather than think, oh, when I become successful, then I'll do that? Like, you chose movies early in your career that have continued to have that positive impact. Pursuit of Happiness being one of them, that gave people this aspiration and this energy and this inspiration. How do we do that when we're starting out, not just at the end?
You know, it's really a difficult balance. I had someone ask me before about work-life balance. How do you have a work-life balance? And to me, work-life balance is impossible if you don't align your values, right? So a work-life balance is about not having one set of values at work. Kill or be killed. You smash the competition, you do all of that. And then when you come home and you playing games with the family, you try to smash your kids in the card game, because it's like, that mentality. So it's about having a set of values that move between both places. That for me, I learned that it has to be about people. If it's not about people, it's unsustainable, And I had that space for a while where I was pushing and jamming so hard that I lost my attention on the people that I was working with. I lost a little bit of my attention on the fact that people have families and people have lives and people have difficulties. And one of the major things is the realization that everybody's having a hard time, right? So, take a moment and tune in to everybody around you, right? Now, somebody is going through a divorce. Somebody just lost a loved one. Somebody just got a diagnosis. Everybody around you, everybody in this room is going through something. And in building a business, we can't lose touch of the fact that life is hard for each of us. And the reason we're making the business has to be to make life better for all of us, right? So when we tune into each other in that way and recognize, for those that are running companies, the CEO of my company does a great thing. He's backstage. He does a great thing at the beginning of every meeting. He says, okay, no one has to say what it is, but I know everybody's going through things, so we're going to do green, red, and yellow for your emotions. And everybody just say green, yellow, or red, and he goes around the room, and there's always a red, right? And when somebody says they're red to start the meeting, that's probably not the time to correct them on something they did wrong yesterday, right? And the green, yellow, red is such, and no one goes into what it is, but it's such a beautiful way to tune into each other at the beginning of the meeting, and then you just change your tone. If somebody's green, you know you can go a little